There is always one man who makes everyone else in the room feel a little weaker. At the gym at 5 in the morning, he is already there. Same corner, same warm-up, same expressionless face. No headphones, no small talk, no performance for social media. He moves through his training like a quiet machine, while the others yawn, complain, and check their phones. The night before, they laughed about him at the bar, but when he walks in, their voices drop a little. Nobody invites him to skip a session, because everyone knows he will not. They say that is not normal, and underneath the joke is something closer to fear. You know exactly who I am talking about. You have seen versions of him in the gym, at work, in your classes. The one person who never disappears after 2 weeks. And if you are honest, you have been his opposite. You burst out with intensity. You talk about your new routine, and then you quietly stop showing up. No one even asks where you went, because they have seen this version of you before. Later, when you are alone, the real questions arrive. What is wrong with me? Why do I break every promise I make to myself the moment it actually costs something? How many times can I do this before I stop believing my own words? You do not need more motivation, and you do not need another app. You need to become a different kind of man. This video is not about feeling better. It is about becoming other, the kind of presence that makes average people uncomfortable. The man everyone quietly fears is not gifted or lucky. He has built his life on a structure that gives him no safe way to retreat. The same mindset that shaped samurai training and Zen monastic practice runs underneath his routine. If you refuse to build that structure, you will stay clever, inconsistent, and quietly ashamed of yourself. You are not stupid. You are not doomed. In fact, your life on paper probably looks fine. You have ideas, plans, a decent job. People who think you are full of potential. That is the problem. Every Sunday night, you sit down and design a new version of yourself. This week I wake up early. This week I lift, I study, I eat clean. On Monday you attack. You feel sharp, almost reborn. By Wednesday the cracks appear. You wake up late and tell yourself, I will double it tomorrow. By Friday the sentence changes. This week was crazy. Next week I will be serious. You know how the weekend feels. A sour taste in your stomach as you scroll your phone, knowing you have broken yet another promise that no one else even heard. You tell yourself stories to stay intact. Maybe I lack willpower. Maybe it is my genetics. Maybe it is ADHD. But underneath all of that is something simpler and uglier. Every important action in your life is still optional. Every workout is a debate. Every study session is a debate. Every cold shower, every difficult conversation. Every time you know what you should do, you also always quietly know that you do not have to. The samurai had a word for this kind of drifting existence, a floating world, where nothing is fixed and everything can be postponed. That is where you live. Your identity is still that of a man who tries. Trying always includes a door you can walk out of while saying, I did my best. Your discipline keeps dying because leaving costs you nothing. If you do not kill that escape, you will spend your entire life about to become the man you never actually are. Centuries ago, a warlord marched his men across a narrow bridge to face an enemy army that outnumbered them. As soon as the last soldier crossed, he ordered the bridge destroyed. The men watched the wood crash into the river below, cutting off the only path home. There was no retreat, no safe direction to run if fear took over. In that moment, something brutal and simple happened in their minds. Hesitation died. The men who survived that battle were not the most motivated. They were the ones who understood there was nowhere else to go. That is the core of what I call no exit. Discipline. In Japanese, there is a word, keshin, a decided heart. It is not, I will, or I hope this works. It is a decision that cannot be taken back without tearing a piece out of yourself. For monks and samurai, their practice was not a hobby or a streak. It was their shugyo, austere training that defined who they were allowed to be. They did not decide each day whether to live by it. The decision had already been made once completely. The law of no exit discipline is simple, but not easy. First, you remove your ability to back out without pain. Second, you declare a few pillars of your life untouchable, even if everything else falls apart. Third, you accept that people will call this extreme, unhealthy, obsessive, and you keep walking. This is not about pretending to be Japanese. It is about stealing the structure that made their commitment unbreakable. When there is no exit, your mind stops burning energy on negotiation, and all of that force is finally free to move into action. The question is, how does a modern man, in a soft world full of options, create his own moment of burning the bridge? It starts with a single vow today. There is a moment when theory ends and your life splits into before and after. It usually does not happen in a temple or on a battlefield. It happens in a small, ugly place. In a parked car after she says she is tired of your promises. In a silent room after you fail the same exam again. In a mirror at 2 in the morning when you finally see what your comfort has turned you into. That is where our man stands now, not heroic, just empty. He has said, I will change more times than he can count. And every time the sentence dissolved the first time it hurt. He finally understands, a private promise is just a feeling with nice grammar. A vow is different. In older Japanese homes, a man would stand before the family altar or his community and speak his decision out loud. Breaking that vow did not just mean he skipped a task. It meant he damaged his name, his identity, his reputation, and his actions were tied together. Our man chooses to do the same in a modern way. He writes one clear sentence. For the next 90 days, I will train my body at 6 a.m. every day, with no missed days. He signs his own name under it. Then he does the part his past self always avoided. He shows it to his closest friends. He tells his partner. Maybe he posts it publicly. His chest tightens as he hits send, because for the first time failure would not be quiet. Tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings and the old voice whispers you can skip, no one will see if he gets up, but everyone will see if he disappears. Skipping will no longer feel like missing a workout. It will feel like proving he is still the man whose word means nothing. And he is done living like that. Your vow is real now, but in a world like yours, reality is a storm. Messages, deadlines, calls, endless noise. From the moment you wake up, everything and everyone is trying to pull your attention toward what is urgent, not what is important. If you try to slip your practice into whatever gaps are left, it will always slide to the edge of the day. You know the sentence, "I will do it later." Later becomes night, night becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes never. To survive in that chaos, you need what sailors once needed at sea: fixed stars. They did not navigate by every light in the sky, only by the ones that did not move. Your discipline needs the same. One non-negotiable window carved into your day. From 6 to 6:30 every morning, I train my body. From 10 to 10:30 every night, I read and write. No exceptions, no rescheduling, no debates. Our man does not choose his time because a productivity video said it was optimal. He chooses the slice of the day with the fewest moving parts, when the world is quietest and excuses are weakest. He builds it like a ritual: same alarm, same glass of water, same clothes laid out, same place. The first week, his body fights like a trapped animal. He is tired, heavy, irritated. But each time, he showed the same mark on the clock. He is carving a groove in his nervous system. Compare that to your current pattern of doing things when you feel like it or when you have time. That life forces you to make a fresh decision every single day. Fixed time means the decision is made once, and then it is simply obeyed. Even with a fixed window, your mind still looks for cracks to escape through. You wake up on time, you show up in the right half hour, and then the questions begin. What should I do today? Maybe something lighter. Maybe stretching instead of lifting. Maybe I will just scroll for a minute to wake up. Each tiny question sounds harmless, but every one of them is back to the man you are trying to kill. That is why warriors and monks obsess over form. In Zen or in a dojo, you do not improvise the bow or invent a new sequence every day. You repeat the same kata, the same steps, exactly. Not because they are addicted to tradition, but because ritual strangles negotiation. Our man chooses a simple script for his window and locks it in. 5 minutes of breathing, 20 minutes of strength work, 5 minutes of reading. Same order, same place, every day. Week 2 and 3 feel like a psychological war. His mind whispers, "You are bored. This is pointless. You should optimize this. Try a new program. Make it more exciting." This is the point most people mislabel as burnout. It is not burnout. It is your ego panicking because it realizes its options are disappearing. The part of you that lives on novelty and escape feels like it is suffocating, and it will say anything to make you stop. If he keeps going, something strange happens around week 5 or 6. He finds himself already halfway through the sequence before the inner complaints even show up. His body has started the movements while his old thoughts lag behind. He has shifted from deciding to act into acting, because this is simply who he is at this hour. That is the first glimpse of true discipline, when action no longer asks your permission to exist. For a few weeks, everything goes almost unnervingly well. The alarm rings. He gets up. The ritual runs like a program. He starts to believe, maybe this time I have finally changed. And then reality does what it always does. He wakes up shivering with a fever, or his boss tells him he has to cover a late shift, or he lands in a cheap hotel after midnight and the gym is a broken treadmill and a dusty yoga mat. This is the exact point where your old life has always taken you back. The script in his head begins on cue. It is just one day. I will restart properly when things calm down. This is where most people break, because their perfectionism hides their weakness. If I cannot do it exactly the way I planned, I will not do it at all. The no-gap rule exists to kill that voice. In Zen, they talk about joji, continuous practice. The form can shrink, but the chain does not break. If he cannot do 30 minutes, he does 3. If he cannot lift, he does air squats by the bed. If he is dead tired, he reads 1 page instead of 20. What matters is that every single day still contains some living piece of the vow. There is a huge difference between a river that is low and a river that has dried up. One is alive, the other is memory. When you allow a true gap, you stop being a man in training and become a man who used to train. So he does something that looks ridiculous to everyone else: push-ups in a hotel bathroom at midnight, stretching quietly beside a sickbed. It is not impressive, but it is a refusal to ever go back. By now you can feel how fragile discipline is when it depends on the day going smoothly. The truth is, most of your unexpected obstacles are the same few storms repeating: late nights, guests in the house, travel, arguments, emotional crashes. The real problem is that you meet them half asleep, deciding what to do while you are tired, stressed, and looking for an excuse. In that state, the easy path wins every single time. So you remove the need to decide. You write a battle manual. 1 simple page. When X happens, I do Y. If I travel, I run a bodyweight circuit in the hotel room. If guests stay over, I train quietly in the bathroom. If I drink, which I know I should not, I still execute the minimum version of my vow the next morning without negotiation. The power is not in how clever these plans are. It is in the fact that when you are weak, the answer already exists. As he keeps following these scripts, another kind of resistance appears. Friends laugh that he is insane for working out on holiday. His partner complains he is rigid. Coworkers say, "Relax, one day will not kill you. Understand what is happening." If he breaks his line, they feel safe. If he holds it, they are forced to see their own softness. Their discomfort is proof he has left the average. They need him to slow down so they can feel okay about standing still. If you need their approval, you will never rise above them. Now you understand the man everyone quietly fears. He is not superhuman, and he is not lucky. He is simply someone who killed his exits. His life runs on vows instead of moods, fixed windows instead of free time, simple rituals instead of endless optimization. He treats gaps as poison and prepares for chaos before it arrives. What you once saw as mysterious discipline is just a life built so that retreat hurts more than advancing. If you take this seriously, your world will shift. People around you will feel it before you do. Some will be impressed, some will be threatened. A few will try to pull you back with jokes, invitations, or guilt. You will have moments of loneliness because your old, softer self fit in better. That emptiness you feel then is grief. You are burying the man who always negotiated his way out of discomfort. On the other side of that death is something rare quiet. Not comfort, but the end of the constant argument in your own head. Real discipline is not about doing impressive things when you feel strong. It is about refusing to abandon yourself when you feel weak, tired, humiliated, or scared. That is why this level of discipline is frightening. It proves that what most people call limits are just preferences they never challenged. So here is the line. Write one clear public vow, even if it is only in the comments. One action, one time, no excuses. Not a wish. A decision you will not take back. Start with one.